Hello everyone. Today we are going to work on our Zoho MarketingHub A/B testing. A/B testing, also known as split testing, is a marketing experiment wherein you split your audience to test a number of different variations, campaign A, campaign B, to determine which performs better. In other words, you can show version A, a piece of marketing content or a subject line, and then you can show the other part of your audience, version B, or a second subject line, and decide which one performs better. So that's what we're going to test today. We're actually just going to do our June newsletter to do this testing, and I will walk you through how we can make one of those campaigns. First, inside our Marketing Hub, we are going to choose our engagement button over here on the left-hand side. And we have the ability, we can send surveys, events, webinars. We'll have different videos for these different options, but in this case, we're going to choose email campaigns. So when I click on email campaigns, you will see this is my sandbox item, and I've used this particular Marketing Hub instance just to send out my holiday cards and newsletters and such, and different training and functionality. So you'll see Father's Day cards, Memorial Day cards. And today we're just going to do our June newsletter with a couple of different subject lines. So we all struggle with which subject line or which content items are going to get the most clicks, to get the most engagement. And the A/B testing allows us to choose two different ones and send those out and see which one performs better. So in this case, we're going to put in two different subject lines. One of them is going to be 9 cybersecurity terms you may need to know, or you need to know. And then the other will be get your Windows 10 privacy back. We're going to use those two different subject lines and see which one our recipients like better and which one gets the most opens. So to walk through this, we have gone to engagement, we have gone to email campaigns, and in the right-hand side, we're going to click on Create New, and from the drop-down, we're going to choose Advanced Campaign. When we go to Advanced Campaign, one of our options, our first option is going to be A/B testing. We are going to click on Create New. And under this Create New, we're just going to put in a name for our reference. So in this case, we're just going to put in June 2019 newsletter. And we can also classify this. We have holiday mailers. We can actually create a brand new folder in here for newsletters, and then that way we can keep them organized. So we'll choose newsletter. We'll choose to save this into the newsletters, and then select test parameter. In our particular case, we are going to just do the A/B testing based on the subject. As I said, we're going to choose two different subject lines here, and we'll choose based on that subject. We could also do sender details, or we could do email content. So if you had two different newsletter contents, you had different articles you wanted to put out, you could actually make two different emails with different content and see which one performs better. We're just going to keep it simple, use a subject line, and then our next option is select the size of the test group. So in our case, we are going to stick with the defaults, and we're just going to say send to 2.5% of the recipients, version A, and then version B, send that to 2.5 of the recipients as well. And then whichever one has the most opens, the winning version, will then be sent to the other 90%, 95% of your list. Now, we are going to decide the winner based on the open rate, not necessarily the click rate. It's how many people we can get to open it. So again, we're just going to keep it low-hanging fruit, keep it simple. Otherwise, it would be based on how many people open it and then click on something to actually get engaged and go to the website and actually read the blog article. Keep it simple here. We can also do decide winner by manual. I could go in and look at the results, who opened them, who clicked, and then I could decide which one I wanted to send at the time. I like automation, so I'm going to keep it as the open rate. And then it asks us for the test duration. How long do we want to run this test for? So we can choose hours or we can choose days. So we could send it out and say in 2 days, send the remaining amount. Let's see how many, we're going to give them 48 hours or 2 days to open this, and then we're going to choose the winner within 2 days. In our particular case, it's just the newsletter, and we just want to go in and maybe run a test for 4 hours. So that'll be during today, and whoever wins, it'll get sent out later today. If the results are inconclusive, send version A, send version B, or I will decide later. In this case, I'm going to keep this as I decide later, and that'll allow me, if it's inconclusive or if it's a tie, I can send the one that I deem to be the best, and that could be maybe the subject is the same, but maybe I go in and look to see what the clicks are different or something like that. So I'm just going to hit next. And I'm going to put in my 2 subjects. Now, one of the beauty parts of our Marketing Hub is that it allows us to personalize a little bit. So I'm going to put in the lead's first name, so it can say Danielle, and then I'm going to put in the subject line. So Danielle, here are 9 cybersecurity terms you need to know, right? So I'm just going to copy this over. Danielle, here are 9 cybersecurity terms you need to know. And then subject B, I'm going to put in the lead's first name, which would be Danielle. Get your Windows 10 privacy back. So we will copy and paste that in as well. So that will be our 2 different subject lines. We'll see which one performs better. You're probably looking at this and you're probably taking bets on which one's going to perform better. I know I am. And then we can use our personalized sender details, send to a single address or to the CRM owner address. In this particular case, we're going to leave it simple. Again, send a single address. The sender address will be the same for all recipients. We'll have other videos for different options that are in here, but an explanation of this quickly is if there is a particular or different owner of that contact in the CRM, it could send it out as that particular owner. In this case, again, leaving it simple, the single person sending from Danielle Major and Danielle at keyconsultants.com. Now, reply tracking. I have the ability to track and monitor my lead replies to my email campaigns. In this particular case, it's just a newsletter. It's not necessarily a call to action other than getting them to go to the website and look at the blog postings. So I do not feel the need to track this campaign. And then we also have options for reply to. Under the reply to, we can have all the replies go back to a single address, Danielle at Key Consultants, or the replies can go back to the CRM owner address. This is very nice when you're doing call to action campaigns, and then that way if somebody replies, it automatically goes back to the record owner of that in that case. So I think this is a very nice advanced option that we have. And then personalize the to address, include the recipient's name in the to address, warm and friendly, getting their name out there. Hit next. And we have the ability to create on the fly from quote unquote my templates, right? So templates that you set up for your company. We also get several pre-designed templates that Zoho has given us. We have different categories, business, welcome, and so on. You can go down, choose a template, use that, and design your newsletter from there. There's an awful lot in here. There's also holiday ones that you can send out and so on. Holidays, seasons, right? So they've got built-in happy Mother's Day cards, happy Father's Day cards, and so on that you can use. In our particular case, we have our marketing team actually creates them for us and sends them to us in HTML. So what I like to do is I import or upload my HTML from my marketing team directly into my Marketing Hub, and it comes out nice and neat. So in this case, I'm going to select the import or upload. And it's going to ask me upload from computer, import from cloud. This one happens to be on my machine, so I'm going to choose this. And then I have the ability to browse or drag and drop that over here and upload it. Once it takes my HTML and uploads it, it is going to allow me to do a preview of it. I can also send a test to myself. I can put in an email address and send that out. One of the things I do like to add is a pre-header. So under the pre-header, this is the little blurb that's going to show up if people don't really have, if they have the preview loaded up on either Gmail or Yahoo Mail or Outlook or your Apple Mail. You also have a pre-header that just gives an idea, instead of the entire subject line, just an idea of what the header is going to be. So I'm going to do June newsletter as my pre-header. And then that will allow us to take a look at the content. So it has loaded it up. It's going to look very, very close to what the marketing team has done over there in the HTML. And I can preview and test it. I can edit the content, re-import, and my header footer that I'm going to use is I'm going to just choose the Zoho Marketing Hub theme for my header and footer, and that is going to make sure that I have all of this information in here. I have my unsubscribe, my canned spam, non-interested, unsubscribe, update profile, or recipients. It'll input the recipient's email address in here so they can check that. And that works pretty well. I will hit next. And this allows me to choose who I want to send this to. So in this case, since I'm doing A/B testing, a lot of times the first time I send out, I will send to a seed group to make sure it looks correct and everything works on there. I've already tested this particular one, so I am pretty happy. I'm going to just send it out to my newsletter list. I will choose that, hit next. And this allows me to go through some options just before I send. So consent-based limitations, I am okay here. There's no limitations on this. All of these people that I am sending to, I've sent to previously. They are in my database. They've all opted in. They've said yes for the newsletter. So I do not have to worry about any of the spam or GDPR here. Everybody's already opted in for this particular list. For our tracking options, we have the ability to track through Google Analytics. It's just my newsletter, so I'm not going to track this through the Google Analytics. There's no real call to action, as I said, just to get them to go to the website and read the blog articles. And do you know you can promote your campaign on social media, our social integrations? So this allows us to link up our Facebook and LinkedIn accounts, a couple other accounts here, and send those out. Now, this gives us the added benefit of being able to do it all in one spot, but you will notice over here under the engagement, I have the ability to send email campaigns, but I can also specifically send social campaigns. So in this case, I just want this to be an email campaign that goes out. I do not want to link it to my social media at this point. Under my A/B split details, I have the options that I chose earlier. 2.5% of my 392 person list will get option A. A random 2.5% will get option B. And then whoever wins this within that 4-hour duration, the other 95% of recipients will get whoever wins that, whatever subject line wins out. That winner type is based on the open rate, not necessarily on click, but on open. And then if it lands in a tie, I will get to choose which one goes out. And we are testing with the subject A, subject B. Subject and sender details, it summarizes, these are my 2 subject lines, sender name, so you get to check everything that you have here. You also have the ability to go in and edit this and change it around. Oh, okay, well I didn't realize it was coming from this address, or I didn't realize I've changed my mind, I don't want it to go here, I want it to go to the CRM owner. I have the ability to do that. You'll also notice it's put in my June newsletter as the pre-header here. And then I have content successfully created from import. So this allows me to preview it or edit it. I'm not going to edit the HTML. Marketing team did a great job. Recipient details, email content preview. This allows us to start a litmus test. It allows you to see what your campaign is going to look like in various platforms. What will it look like in Gmail? What will it look like on a Mac, an iPhone, or an Android? Apple Mail, Outlook, and so on. Typically what I do is I send it out initially to a seed group that includes recipients. I have a Gmail address, a Yahoo address, and I open them on my Apple device and my Android device to make sure that they look good on all the different devices in different email clients before I send it out to my large group. So you can purchase credits for this and you can start your litmus test here. I kind of do it with my seed group anyway, so I don't necessarily use the litmus test there. We do have the ability to integrate it back with Zoho CRM. That newsletter list is a custom view in my CRM that I sync over to my Marketing Hub, and it is dynamically updated when someone inside CRM opts into my newsletter list. It gets added, then it gets synchronized over to Marketing Hub, and then then I have the ability to push information back into the CRM. So it can be the open click report, or if there's information in there in a campaign, if you send out a form or survey or have them click on something and input information, you can update the CRM, push that back into the CRM from there. We have other options. Select the character encoding. I typically stick with UTF-8 unless my marketing team tells me I need to do something different. Header and footer, again, I just stick with the MarketingHub, the header and footer, because it has the unsubscribe, the canned spam, keeps me out of trouble. This also allows me to add an event to a calendar. In this case, it's choosing Office 365 calendar, since I am an Office 365 user. I am not going to have this post to the Office 365 calendar. I just don't need it to post over there. If you were to set up an event calendar that showed all of your postings, you could create a custom calendar. You could send these items here, and it would put an event on that Office 365 calendar every time you sent something out, if you chose to do that. You could go back and refer to it. You could export that out. You could share that calendar with other people. So it does have its benefits. And then also inside MarketingHub, we have something called journeys. We have the ability to set up a journey based on this email. A journey allows us to perform actions on these leads and contacts based on their opens and clicks by associating the campaign with a particular journey. So we'll cover journeys in another program, but basically a journey allows you to set up what actions you want people to take. So if somebody were to open this email, I would like for you to do X, drop them into another campaign, or send them this other mailing, or put them in a segment. And if they click on this, then I would like for you to add them to this other list. So I could have multiple list segments or have it do different actions. Again, this is just a newsletter. I'm going to keep it simple. We're simply showing the A/B testing functionality. So we're going to leave the journey off for now. We have the ability to send for review. Before you send out the email campaign, send it to your compliance team to get it reviewed. So again, this cuts down on the canned spam. There is a why explanation here. Abusive language that could be marked as spam and inbox filters. They want to keep themselves off the blacklist, just like they want to keep you off the blacklist. So they do require you to send your mailings in for review so that they can approve them and say that they're okay to send out. I am going to wait for that to come back. Once it comes back that it's been reviewed, I have the ability to either send it out or immediately, or I can schedule the send. In this particular case, I'm going to send it out immediately because I'd like the testing to run for 4 hours so that it can decide a winner and send it out. Typically when I do this, I will probably leave it for 24 to 48 hours so I can get more people clicking. So a 4-hour window is kind of aggressive, and I don't think I'm going to get the best results from that. I'm just hurrying along for the purposes of this video, and I think those two subject lines are pretty close anyway. I don't think they're going to make that much of a difference if it gets sent out to the first one as to the second one. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll come back and add the additional items to it. Now our campaign has been reviewed and has been verified, sent back, and we are ready to either send now or schedule the campaign to send for later. We're going to go ahead and choose send now. So I will hit send. Do you want to send your campaign now? Yes. The campaign will go out. It will send 2.5% to, it'll send version A to 2.5%. It'll send version B to 2.5%, and then it will choose a winner. And now we have the results of our A/B testing back. We had sent out 10 emails to each of the different groups, version A and version B, and we can see that it came back as a tie. 3 people from each group opened the version that they were sent. So therefore the system has given us the ability to manually select which one we're going to send, since it was a tie. In this particular case, we're simply going to send version A. We'll get that sent out to the other 95%, and we will get to see the results later.